Rain hammered against our brownstone windows like angry fists. I sat in the dim bedroom, watching Iris sleep fitfully, her phone buzzing on the nightstand. 3 days she'd been home from the hospital with what the doctors called exhaustion. 3 days of me playing nursemaid while she drifted in and out of consciousness. The phone lit up again. A text message. "Sorry for infecting you." My chest tightened. I glanced at Iris, still asleep, her dark hair spread across the pillow like spilled ink. My hands moved without thinking, picking up her phone. The message was from a number I recognized. Porter Kellor, my best friend since childhood. I called the number. "Holden?" Porter's voice came through, slightly slurred. "Guess you figured it out. If you gave my wife anything worse than a cold, I'll shove a chisel where the sun doesn't shine," I said, keeping my voice level. Porter laughed nervously. "Come on, man, don't be dramatic." I hung up and stared at the phone in my hands. 20 years of friendship, 10 years of marriage, and this is what it came to. I wasn't angry, not yet. I was calculating. I connected Iris's phone to my laptop and started copying everything. Months of messages unfolded before me like a roadmap to betrayal. Explicit conversations, photos of Iris and Porter in hotel rooms I'd paid for with my woodworking earnings, bank transfers labeled gallery expenses that funded their secret getaways. The gallery, Iris's precious art gallery that she ran with her partner Nina. All those late nights, all those business trips to secure investors, all lies wrapped in artistic ambition. I scrolled through transaction after transaction, my money, earned with sawdust in my lungs and splinters in my hands, financing their affair. The irony would have been funny if it wasn't so pathetic. Iris stirred, mumbling something about Porter in her sleep. I quietly typed a message from her phone to Porter. "Meet me at the gallery tonight. We need to talk." His response came immediately. "Can't wait to see you, beautiful." I smiled grimly at the screen. Game on. The next morning, I brought Iris her tea like nothing had changed. She sat up in bed, looking pale but beautiful in that effortless way that had first attracted me 15 years ago. "Feeling better?" I asked, setting the mug on her nightstand. "A little." She studied my face. "You seem different." "Just worried about you." I kissed her forehead, tasting the lie on my lips. I was thinking I could help with the gallery opening next week. Handle the heavy lifting. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Iris's eyes flickered with something, surprise, maybe suspicion. "You hate gallery events. I hate seeing you stressed more." I shrugged. "Besides, Nina could probably use the help." "That's sweet of you." She reached for her phone, fingers dancing across the screen. I watched her read Porter's confused response to last night's message, watched her type back quickly. "I need to go to the shop," I said. "Mrs. Dalrymple ordered a custom bookshelf." "Of course she did." Iris managed a weak smile. "That woman collects gossip, like you collect wood stains." If only she knew how useful Mrs. Dalrymple's gossip was about to become. At my workshop, I pulled up the copied files on my computer. The evidence was damning, but evidence alone wouldn't satisfy me. I wanted them to feel what I felt, the slow burn of realization, the crushing weight of consequences. I printed the most incriminating photos and messages, then drove to the gallery. Nina was there, arranging paintings for the upcoming show. "Holden!" She seemed genuinely surprised. "Iris said you might stop by. Thought I'd see if you needed help with the installation." I gestured at the artwork. "Some of these pieces look heavy." Nina's laugh was nervous. "We usually hire professionals for that." "I am a professional, just not the kind you're used to." As I helped move a large canvas, I overheard Nina on the phone with someone, discussing the Holden problem and how to phase him out once the big investment comes through. Her voice carried across the gallery's glass walls like she was announcing it to the world. The big investment. Another piece of the puzzle clicked into place. That evening I positioned myself in the alley behind the gallery, watching through the back windows. Porter arrived exactly on time, looking nervous and excited. Through the glass, I could see him and Iris talking animatedly. I held up my phone, recording everything. Their body language told the story. Porter gesturing frantically, Iris shaking her head, both of them glancing toward the front windows as if expecting me to appear. I caught fragments of their conversation. Tell Holden. The money. After everything's finalized. They were planning something bigger than just an affair. They were planning my complete destruction. The portside bar reeked of stale beer and broken dreams. Detective Rick Flanders sat at his usual stool, nursing a whiskey that had seen better days. Rick was a part-time cop in our small Maine city, part-time drunk everywhere else. But he had two qualities I needed: access to legal databases and a personal grudge against Porter. Holden Ravell, Rick slurred as I approached. Heard your wife's been under the weather. She's recovering. I ordered a beer. Rick, you still looking into that real estate fraud case? His eyes sharpened despite the alcohol. Which one? This town's full of crooked developers. I slid a USB drive across the bar. Porter Kellor's been creative with his property assessments. Thought you might find it interesting. Rick pocketed the drive without looking at it. Porter's always been slippery. What's your interest? Civic duty. He laughed bitterly. Sure. Just like my interest is justice. The next day was Iris's gallery opening. The cream of our small city's art scene gathered to admire her latest exhibition, Intimate Spaces. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd arrived early to help with final preparations. While Iris and Nina fussed over wine selections, I made a simple substitution. The centerpiece of the show, an abstract painting called Hidden Desires, was replaced with a carefully arranged collage of printed photos. Iris and Porter in various hotel rooms, their faces clearly visible, their activities unmistakably intimate. The crowd gathered around the piece as planned. I watched from across the room as recognition dawned on face after face. Whispers started like wildfire. Is that Iris Ravell? Who's the man? That's not her husband. Isn't that Porter Kellor, the real estate guy? Nina saw it first. She made a choking sound and grabbed Iris's arm, pointing. Iris turned, saw the display, and went completely white. Her eyes found mine across the crowded room. I raised my beer in a mock toast. Iris fled through the back exit. The crowd buzzed with excitement. This was better entertainment than any art show. I pulled out my phone and called Rick Flanders. Your boy Porter just left town in a hurry, I said. Thought you might want to catch him before he gets too far. On my way. I hung up and smiled at Nina, who was frantically trying to remove the photo collage while fielding questions from confused patrons. Interesting artistic choice, I told her. Very intimate. Iris didn't come home that night. According to Mrs. Dalrymple, who watched everything from her front window like a security camera, Iris had gone to Nina's house around midnight. By morning, she was back, looking haggard and desperate. We need to talk, she said, standing in our kitchen doorway. About what? Your artistic vision? I poured coffee like nothing had happened. That gallery show was quite the revelation. You're enjoying this. Her voice carried a mix of anger and disbelief. You humiliated me in front of the entire city. I displayed your work. Isn't that what galleries are for? She moved closer, and I could see the calculation in her eyes. Holden, I know you're hurt, but... Hurt? I laughed. Iris, I'm not hurt. I'm impressed. The planning, the deception, the sheer audacity of using my money to fund your affair while plotting to frame me for tax evasion. It's almost artistic. Her face went pale. How did you... Nina talks too loud. Porter keeps terrible records, And you really should change your phone password more often. Iris tried a different approach, moving closer with that smile that used to melt my defenses. We can work this out. Porter meant nothing. It was just what? A way to launder gallery funds? A setup for insurance fraud? Or were you planning to pin the tax evasion on me after you'd emptied our accounts? The color drained from her face completely. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. I showed her my phone, displaying the recorded conversation from the gallery. Porter confessed everything to Rick Flanders last night. Apparently, he's very talkative when he's scared. That was a lie, but Iris didn't know it. Where is Porter now? She whispered. Gone. Rick's got an arrest warrant for the real estate fraud, and Porter decided he preferred exile to jail time. I finished my coffee. You should probably call a lawyer and a moving company. You can't throw me out. This is my home, too. Actually, it's my home. The lease is in my name, remember? You were too busy with artistic pursuits to handle mundane things like housing contracts. Iris stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. I never knew you could be this cold, she said. I learned from the best. Mrs. Dalrymple knocked on my door that evening, carrying a plate of cookies and a lifetime's worth of gossip. Terrible business about Iris and that Porter fellow, she said, settling into my kitchen chair. Though I can't say I'm surprised. Oh? Porter's been sniffing around for months, asking questions about your finances, your business records. Said he was helping Iris with some investment opportunity. She bit into a cookie. I never trusted him. Too smooth, you know? My stomach tightened. What kind of questions? Tax records, business licenses, whether you kept proper books for your woodworking? Said Iris was worried about some audit? Mrs. Dalrymple's eyes glittered with the joy of revealing secrets. Of course, now we know what he was really after. The pieces fell into place with sickening clarity. Porter hadn't just been Iris's lover. He'd been gathering information to frame me for tax evasion, while they siphoned money through the gallery. The affair was just cover for a more elaborate scheme. My phone rang. Nina's name appeared on the screen. Holden, we need to meet. I have something you need to see. An hour later, Nina handed me a leather-bound ledger in the parking lot behind her apartment building. I found this in Iris's desk at the gallery, she said, her voice shaking. I thought you should know what they were planning. The ledger contained detailed records of financial transfers, forged invoices, and a timeline for their scheme. They'd planned to empty my business accounts, report me for tax evasion using falsified records, then disappear with the money while I dealt with federal investigators. Why are you giving me this? I asked. Nina's laugh was bitter. Because they were planning to pin some of it on me, too. Iris thought I was too stupid to notice. She wrapped her coat tighter against the wind. I may be ambitious, but I'm not a criminal. I studied the ledger, seeing months of careful planning laid out in Iris's precise handwriting. This is enough to put them both in prison. If you can find Porter, word is he's halfway to Canada by now. He'll be back. Men like Porter always come back for what they think they're owed. Nina shivered. What are you going to do? What I should have done years ago. Finish what I started. The abandoned seaside hotel had been closed for 5 years, its grand ballroom gathering dust and memories. It was the perfect place for final confrontations, dramatic, isolated, and symbolic of dreams gone wrong. I sent identical messages to both Iris and Porter. Meet me at the old hotel ballroom tonight. Bring nothing but yourselves. This ends now. They came separately, but arrived within minutes of each other. I watched from the shadows as they met in the doorway, their voices echoing in the empty space. This is insane, Porter was saying. We should just leave town. With what money? Iris snapped. He's frozen everything. I stepped into the light, my footsteps echoing on the warped wooden floor. Rain drummed against the tall windows, and emergency lighting cast everything in harsh shadows. Welcome to the reckoning room, I said. They turned to face me, and I saw fear in both their eyes for the first time. "Holden, listen," Porter started. "No." I threw the ledger at their feet. It hit the floor with a satisfying thud. "You listen. For months, you've been playing a game where I was the only one who didn't know the rules. Tonight we finish it." I pulled out my phone and played the audio recording of their gallery conversation, their voices filling the empty ballroom with plans and betrayals. "You took my money, my trust, my time," I continued. "You planned to destroy my life and leave me to face federal charges while you lived comfortably on my earnings." Iris tried to step forward. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this. It wasn't supposed to happen at all." I held up another phone, Nina's, recording everything. "But since it did, let's make sure everyone gets the full story." Porter broke first. "It was her idea. She said you'd never notice, said you were too trusting." "Shut up!" Iris turned on him with pure venom. "You were supposed to handle the financial records, make it look legitimate." "I did, but you got greedy, wanted to take everything." I listened to them tear each other apart, their partnership dissolving into accusations and blame. It was almost disappointing how quickly they turned on each other. "Enough." My voice cut through their arguing. "Rick Flanders is outside with arrest warrants for both of you. Gallery fund misappropriation, fraud, conspiracy to commit tax evasion. Nina's testimony and this ledger are more than enough evidence." The fight went out of them both. Iris sank into a dusty chair, her face in her hands. Porter stared at the ledger like it was a venomous snake. "What do you want?" Iris whispered. "Justice. Consequences. The satisfaction of watching you face what you've done." I walked to the tall windows, looking out at the storm-lashed city below. "You wanted drama, Iris. You got it." I could hear sirens in the distance, getting closer. "The game's over," I said without turning around. "And I'm the last man standing." Through the rain-streaked windows, I watched police cars pull up to the hotel entrance. Red and blue lights painted the walls of our makeshift courtroom, and I finally allowed myself to smile. Outside, the storm was breaking. Inside, justice was finally being served. The reckoning room had done its job.